This is Honors Geometry, Surface Area of Prisms. Formula I like to use for the surface area of a prism. So if you remember, the surface area is the sum of the areas of all the faces of your polyhedron. So what I usually do is I find two of the bases. I find the area of the base, and we know we're going to double that. And then to take care of all the sides, all the lateral faces, I take the perimeter of the base and then I multiply it times the height. What that does is it takes care of all the sides in one easy step, all the lateral faces. So the formula I like to use is, here we go, 2 times the area of the base. Again, that's going to take care of the bottom and the top of your prism. And then to that, I add the perimeter of the base. In this case, we would add up the 4 sides of our base and then multiply that times the height of our prism. And again, that takes care of all 4 of the other sides, the lateral faces. Let's go ahead and practice. Maybe again you learned in 5th grade, hey, my teacher told me it's 2 times length times width plus 2 times length times height times 2 times length times width, or whatever. You can certainly still use that formula, but I like my generic formula better. So we're looking for the surface area, 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter of the base times the height. And remember, on a rectangular prism, you can call any side you want the base, because the definition of a base is 2 congruent polygons in parallel planes, and so all of them satisfy that condition. I'm just going to consider the 8 by 3 our base. So we have 2 that are 8 by 3, our rectangular base. That takes care of the bottom and the top. And then if I take the perimeter of the base, which is 8 plus 3 plus 8 plus 3, so what's that, 11, 22? And then multiply that times our height of our prism, which is 2, that's going to take care of all 4 lateral faces. We're going to go ahead and punch that in our calculator. 2 times 8 times 3 plus 22 times 2, and it looks like the surface area of this prism would be 92 square feet. All right, let's go ahead and try a triangular prism. So again, I'm going to use my basic generic formula. Surface area is 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter of the base times height. And we need to determine our base. Our base is going to be these 2 isosceles triangles. Again, they have to be congruent, they have to be parallel. That's how I know they're the base. And so in place of B, I'm going to put the formula for a triangle, which is 1/2 base times height. And I still want the perimeter of that times the height of the prism. Okay, now it looks like I need the height of our triangle, which would be right here. And we can see it's isosceles, which means when we drop the altitude or the height, it's going to split the base in half. So I can assume that each of these are 1.5 meters. So let's go ahead and just use Pythagorean Theorem so we could calculate the height of our triangle. So I'm going to say a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I'm going to say 1.5 squared plus b squared, whatever you want to call it, equals the hypotenuse squared in this case, which is 8 squared. So I'm just going to save a little bit of time. I'm going to say 8 squared minus 1.5 squared. And that gets me b squared equals 61.75. Let's go ahead and square root both sides. Square root of 61.75 looks like it's about 7.86 we'll go with. And that seems reasonable. I knew it was going to be less than 8, and I knew it was going to be pretty high because the other side was so small. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put in everything we know. We have 2 triangles, and the base of our triangle we're given is 3. The height of our triangle we just calculated using Pythagorean Theorem, which is 7.86. Now if we do the perimeter of our base, we're going to take care of the 3 rectangles that wrap around it. So that would be 8 plus 8 plus 3. 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 3 is going to be 19. And we want to multiply that times the height of our prism, which is going to take care of our rectangles. so what I said, 16, 19, and then we're going to multiply that times the height, which is 9.1. All right, let me go ahead and punch this in my calculator for us. The 2 and the 1/2 are going to cancel each other out, so I'm not going to waste entering that. I'm going to say 3 times 7 times 7.86. And then to that, I'm going to add 19 times 9.1. And it looks like the surface area of this triangular prism is about 196.48, and that'd be square meters. All right, let's go ahead and do a pentagonal prism. I'm going to need to make some room for us. Okay. All right, here we go. So I'm going to start with that same formula. Surface area equals 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter of the base times the height of the prism. I recognize my base is this regular pentagon, so I know the formula for that is 1/2 ASN, and then again the perimeter of that pentagon times the height. Okay, it looks like they give us the S. We know the N is 7. It looks like the only thing we don't know is our A, and that's that apothem, the height of that triangle. All right, so let's go ahead and just put in what we know. We'll come back and do the A. The side length is 2. The number of sides is 5. The perimeter of our base is the pentagon with a side length of 2, so that's going to be 2 times 5, or 10, is the perimeter. And the height, if we'd stand this up, our height is 3.5. All right, let's go ahead and calculate our A here. So we know we take 360 divided by the number of sides. That's going to tell us each slice is going to be 72 degrees, each central angle. When I drop that apothem, it's going to split that 72 into two 36s. So this is what we're looking at. We know this is 36 degrees. We split our 2 in half. This is 1 now, and we're looking for our A. So from the 36, that's opposite adjacent. If we look at our SOHCAHTOA, opposite adjacent tells us we use tangent. So I'm going to say tangent of a 36-degree angle equals opposite, which is 1, over adjacent, which is the apothem we're looking for. I'm going to cross multiply and divide, which means I'm taking 1 divided by tangent of 36. And it looks like we're getting about 1.38. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in for us right here. And let's go ahead and punch that in our calculator. Again, the 2 and the 1/2 are going to cancel out. I'm not going to waste putting that in my calculator. So I'm going to say that times the side length, which is 2, times the number of sides, which is 5. That takes care of the bottom and the top of our prism. Now we're going to add in the lateral faces. So I'm going to add plus 10 times 3.5. And I'm getting about 48.76. If I punched it in correctly, and that would be square inches. All right, last thing we have to talk about are the backwards ones. Let's try one of those. Okay, get this to click here. There we go. All right, let's do the more difficult one together. Looks like on the triangular prism, we're given the surface area. Looks like we're given 2 of our 3 sides of our base, our triangle, and we're looking for the height. And remember, if we do the perimeter of our base, we need that 3rd side. So I'm going to go ahead and just calculate that now, anticipating I need that. So we're going to do Pythagorean Theorem. It looks like we're missing our hypotenuse, our C. So I'm going to say 8 squared plus 17 squared equals C squared. And 8 squared plus 17 squared gives me 353 equals C squared. Square root that. And I'm looking at about 18.79. And that seems reasonable. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there, 18.79. All right, here we go. So we're doing 2 times the area of the base, which is a triangle, so I'm going to put 1/2 base times height, plus the perimeter of our base times our height. Again, the 1/2 and the 2 are going to cancel out. I'm not even going to waste my time with that. The base of our triangle, remember, in order to be a base and height, you have to have that right angle symbol. So my base is 8, or you can consider it 17, it doesn't matter, times the height, which is 17. So times. And then to that, we're going to add the perimeter of the base. So that's why we had to calculate that missing side. So I have 8 plus 17 plus 18.79. And that gives me a perimeter of 43.79. And then we're going to multiply that times the height. That's going to take care of all the 3 sides together. And we're given that the surface area is 616. All right, I'm going to multiply 8 times 17, simplify a little bit here. That gives us 136. Plus 43.79x equals 616. Let's go ahead and subtract that 136. Don't be tempted to combine those two together because that one has an x. They're not like terms. So I'm going to take 616 minus 136. Gives me 480 equals 43.79x. Now I'm going to divide each side by 43.79. And I get 11. It looks like our missing height is going to be 11 inches. All right, and that seems reasonable. If this is 8, this is 17. It looks like 11 is reasonable. All right, please try the practice problems. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.